I will be able to understand the trigonometric vocabulary, identify the correct trigonometric ratio, and use it to find the missing side of the given right angle triangle. Now, trigonometry. Here, as the name might suggest, is all about triangles. Please look at the first three letters. It is TRI, trigonometry. So TRI, triangle. Okay. So as the name might suggest, it's all about triangles. More specifically, trigonometry is about right-angled triangles, where one of the internal angles is 90. Please remember, in a right-angled triangle, just one angle is 90 degrees and the other two are not. Trigonometry is a system that helps us to work out missing or unknown side lengths or angles in a triangle. You may get a question, you may get a doubt. In a right triangle, if any one side is missing, we know how to find the other side using Pythagoras theorem. Then what is the need to use this trigonometry? Yes, you're absolutely right. By using Pythagoras theorem, if two sides are given, the third side, which is the missing side, we can compute. But in trigonometry, if one side is given and one angle is given, then we can find the missing side. Please remember, in Pythagoras theorem, using by Pythagoras theorem, you can, if two sides are given, you can find the missing side, that is the third side. But by using trigonometry, one angle is given, one side is given, then you can find the other sides. That's the beauty of this topic. Okay, so, a quick reminder about right-angled triangles. A right-angled triangle has a single right angle by definition. That means that all sides cannot be the same length. Please remember, in rare cases, two sides may be of same length, but all the three cannot be same. Because you know that in a right angle triangle, the longest side is the hypotenuse. That can never be equal to any of the other two sides. Okay? And here, I'm going to show a right triangle. There's a lag. Okay. The longest side is the hypotenuse, and the other two sides, one is considered as opposite side and the other one is considered as adjacent side. So what are these opposite sides and adjacent sides? So let's quickly jump to the whiteboard, and here I'm going to explain. So let me draw a right triangle first. I'm taking a right triangle first. Okay. Right. This is slightly tricky. Like if I'm taking, say, A, B, C. Okay. You know that the side opposite to 90 degrees is known as hypotenuse. While solving algebra problems, the unknown side is considered, the unknown value is considered as x. Suppose you think of a number, add 3, the result is 10, then the unknown number, if you are writing as an equation, we take a variable, usually x. So it is x plus 3 equals to 10. Then we figure out what the value of x is. So the unknown value is taken as a variable, usually an English alphabet. In the same way, while solving the angles, etc., the unknown angle is considered as theta. The unknown angle is considered as theta. Theta means something like we write like 0 and then something like we strike it up. So here the unknown angle, instead of x, I'm taking here as theta. Okay. Now, when we talk about sine, cos, tan before talking about the trigonometric terms, if this is theta, then this is the side opposite. So AC is the opposite side. AC is the opposite side. And next one, the side that is next to the given angle other than the hypotenuse, we call this one as a adjacent side. This is called as adjacent side. Again, I'm repeating here the side which is given next to the angle other than hypotenuse. Please remember, other than hypotenuse. Even hypotenuse is also drawn next to the given angle. Right? So, already I explained which is the opposite side. So, in this diagram, AC is the opposite side to theta, and BC is the adjacent side to theta. Okay, now let's talk about the trigonometry terms. Please remember, these are the points to remember. The right angle is indicated by the little box in the corner. Please remember that small square that indicates 90 degrees. The other angle that we usually know is indicated by theta, Theta, theta. Of course, you know that the side opposite to 90 degrees is known as hypotenuse. So that's it pretty much about the important points. And next, sine, cosine, and tangent. You know, when we take the ratio of opposite side to theta to its hypotenuse, that is known as sine. In fact, these are the rules. I'll explain more in detail when you start taking the questions. So, the name is SIN is sine. In short, we say that SIN, but please do not pronounce it as a sin. It is not sin, it is sine only. Okay. So sine theta equals to opposite over hypotenuse, and cosine, and the short form of cosine is cos. So cos theta equals to adjacent. Already I explained what is the adjacent side, adjacent over hypotenuse. And the third one is the tangent, and the short form is tan. Tan theta equals to opposite over adjacent. In fact, you are expected to memorize all the three. There is a method to memorize all the three. We call it as SOHCAHTOA. So you can see that at the bottom it is written as SOHCAHTOA. What is SOHCAHTOA means? The first letter of sine is S, and the first letter of the numerator, that is opposite. So the first letter is O, and in the denominator the first letter is H. Therefore, these three together, S, O, H, we call it as SO. In the same way, when we take cosine, the first letter of cosine is C, and the first letter of adjacent is A, and the first letter of the denominator is H. So CAH. Likewise, the last one is tangent. The first letter is tangent T, and the first letter of numerator is O, and the first letter of denominator, that is adjacent, A. Therefore, we take the first letters and we memorize this way, SOHCAHTOA. Now, then how to elaborate this one means, first let me memorize this one, which is SOHCAHTOA. While solving the problems, what we do is, first you have to memorize. Please remember, while memorizing the spelling, you have to be careful because Sokatova means, I know that some students who memorize as Soka, Ka means C-O-H. It is not C-O-H, it is C-A-H. So let me write as Sokatova, S-O-H, then C-A-H-T-O-A. So this is Sokatova. So if you can memorize this way, when you are solving the problems, you can S. So that indicates sine theta equals to, let me elaborate, O stands for, that is opposite side to theta, over H stands for hypotenuse. So these are the things you have to memorize. Next, coming to C. Soka, C-A-H. The first letter is C, that represents cos theta, and the fraction, the numerator A, that one represents adjacent side to theta. H, that indicates hypotenuse. And the last one, T, which is tan theta equals to O, that gives me an idea that that's the opposite side to the given angle theta. A, that is adjacent side to theta. So Sokatova, if you remember, then you can write all the three formulae. So let's revisit the PowerPoint presentation. Yes, the same rules are given, that sine equals to, you can see that opposite over hypotenuse, cos equal to adjacent over the hypotenuse, and tan equals to opposite over adjacent. So pretty much Sokatova means this is. Next, let's practice some problems on the worksheet. So let's go to the whiteboard now, and let me open a fresh page. Okay. So let's go to a fresh page. Here I'm taking a right angle triangle first. I'm drawing a right angle triangle, and let me put a small square in the corner in between these two. Well, and this one is, say, P. It is PQR. PQR. You know that the longest side is the hypotenuse. Let's say that this is 40 units, and this one is 32, and this one is 24. Just I'm taking some numbers, 24, 32, and 40. Okay, just I'm taking an example. Suppose you are asked to find what is sine Q. What is sine Q? So sine Q means, if you forgot what is the condition, take the first letter. It is S. So immediately think of Sokatova. So it is S-O-H. Sokatova. T-O-A. Sokatova. Therefore, SOH. So let me write O, and the denominator is H. Now let's elaborate this one. So O stands for, it is opposite side to, what means here, this letter plays a vital role. Friends, this letter plays a vital role. You have to be very, very careful. So here it is opposite side to angle Q, and H stands for hypotenuse. hypotenuse. So I see that Q here, and opposite side to Q is 32 units. You can see that opposite side to Q, sorry, opposite angle, my apologies, opposite side to angle Q is 32 units. It is 32 units over hypotenuse. You can see that hypotenuse never changes. Hypotenuse is the longest side. Okay, so this is 40 units. Now, can you divide 32 and 40 by any value? Means you may say that yes, these two values are divisible by 2, but think of a large number. Can I divide by 2? Yes. Can I divide by 3? Can I divide by 4? Yes, 32 and 40 are divisible by 4. Then like this, you keep going. Can I divide by 5? No. 6, 7, 8. Yes, it is. So, I can divide both the values, numerator and denominator, by 8. So, when you divide it, 32 divided by 8, that gives you 4. 40 divided by 8, that gives you 5. Therefore, 4 over 5 is the value of sine Q. Just I'm skipping purposefully cos and I'm taking tan. Suppose you are asked to find tan P. What is tan P? So tan means you have to think of the condition, that is SOHCAHTOA. So here TOA. Therefore SOHCAHTOA. So T equals to O over A. SOHCAHTOA. Okay. So please think of what is O. O stands for, that is opposite side. It is not just opposite side. It is opposite side to, here, as I told you before, this one is really important. Very important is this particular letter. So it is opposite side to P over A stands for, it is adjacent side. It is adjacent side to the same letter P. So this time I'm taking P opposite side. You see that opposite side is this one, and adjacent side means the side that is associated or next to the, that is next to the angle other than hypotenuse. That is the adjacent side. Therefore, I say that opposite is 24 units over adjacent is 32 units. You may get a doubt. I don't know what is the largest number that I can divide both the values. So, can I divide by 2? Means absolutely fine. You can. You may grab a calculator and you can compute. 24 divided by 2, that gives me 12. 32 divided by 2. You can make use of calculator if you want. Then can I divide 12 and 16 by any value? Yes, it is. You can divide by 2. So 12 divided by 2, that gives me 6. 16 divided by 2 gives me 8. Can I divide by the 6 and 8 by any value? Yes. Oh my gosh. I have to keep going several times. Okay. So what is 6 divided by 2? That gives me 3. And 8 divided by 2, that's 4. Or else, if you are sure and if you know with what number you have to divide, like 24 over 32, that if you know with what to divide, yes, I can divide both the values by 8. 8 3 is 24, 8 4s, you'll end up with the same answer. So, here, if you know what is the largest number, what is the highest number with you have to divide, that's fine. If you don't know, that's fine. You can start dividing with small numbers like 2s, 3s, etc. Still, it makes no difference. Okay. So let me take one more question. Let's go to a different page. Well, let's solve this one. Find sine j, cos j, tan j, sin L, cos L, and tan L all. Therefore, let me take the first one is sine j, next cos j, tan j. So these are the questions. So first of all, you remember this one, that is SOHCAHTOA, SOH, then CAH. You keep writing again and again so that you will never forget. So SOHCAHTOA. So sine, which is S here, so SOH, then SOHCA, CAH, TOA, TOA. Now let's elaborate these fractions. It is opposite side to. Many people neglect, but I prefer to write this one like this way: opposite side to angle J over H stands for hypotenuse. See, hypotenuse is always hypotenuse. That is the longest side, you know that. But when it comes to opposite side and adjacent side, this one leads to some confusion. That's the reason always I suggest you to write including the letter, like it is adjacent side to, here I see that the letter J, so it is adjacent side to J or hypotenuse. Let's solve the first two problems, then we can go to the other one. So what is opposite to J means? Here is letter J and opposite side to J, I see that it is 12 units. I see that it is 12 units. Therefore, let me write that here, 12 over hypotenuse is 20 units. You know, further you can, with what value can I divide both numerator and denominator? Obviously 4, like 4 times 3, 4 times 5, you are done. And next, coming to the second part, adjacent to J. So here is J. Please remember, adjacent means the side next to the angle that is adjacent here, other than hypotenuse. Please don't forget, when we talk about adjacent, identify the angle and the next to the angle other than hypotenuse, that is called as adjacent side. So here I see that it is 16 units and the hypotenuse is 20, therefore 16 over 20. Then can you divide both these values by any number? Means obviously yes, it is 4. Therefore 16 divided by 4 and 20 divided by 4, that gives me 4 over 5. And the last one is tan J. So here the numerator O stands for, that is opposite side to whatever the letter is given that we have to take, that is opposite side to J, and A stands for, that is adjacent side to J. And next, at this point you have to plug in the value. So J is here. What is opposite means? You can see that in the diagram, that is 12 units. Opposite side to J is 12. Then we have to take the adjacent side. Please don't forget, adjacent side means that is the side next to the angle other than hypotenuse. That is other than hypotenuse, we have to take it. Therefore, what is it means? That is 16. And now plug in the values. Then I see that both the values are divisible by 4. Then 16 over 4, that gives me 4. So in brief, this is how we solve the problems. But one more example, that is, of course, we have to continue because the question is here asked to find what is sin j, cos j, tan j, and also asked to find sin L, cos L, and tan L. Therefore, let me move this part a little to the left hand side, little. Okay, then this time I'm going to find sin L, then cos L, and then tan L. Again, I have to think of SOHCAHTOA. So SOHCAHTOA, so S-O-H. SOHCAHTOA means S-O-H. SOHCA, so it is next C-A-H. C-A-H. And TOA, it is T-O-A. Once when I write this way, then you can elaborate your fractions or the ratios. Then O stands for, all of you know that O for opposite, it is opposite side to angle L. H for, it is hypotenuse. Then next SOHCAHTOA, so CAH, then it is adjacent side to L over H for hypotenuse. Tan is opposite side. Please remember we are dealing with this, therefore opposite to L over adjacent side to L. Now just you have to plug in the values and you have to be really careful. When I say that opposite to L, if you want, you may use pencil and mark which is opposite and which is hypotenuse and all those things. You know, hypotenuse is always the longest side here. So here I see that the opposite is 16 units, and the hypotenuse is 20. Please remember the longest side is the hypotenuse. Always the longest side is the hypotenuse. You can see and you can sense it easily, which is the hypotenuse in the given right triangle. Of course, 16 and 20 means you can divide the numerator and denominator. If you want, you can take a small number. I suggest you to go for a large number if you know, or else if you have any difficulty, then what you can do is either you can make use of calculator, or else you think of the large number and you can divide it. Next, when I divide 16 over 20, both by 4, then I'll end up with 4 over 5. I see that adjacent to L means, please remember, adjacent means the next to the given angle, Here I see that it is 12 units. Here it is 12 units. And hypotenuse, always the longest one, I see that it is 20. Again, I can divide both these values by 4. So you can compute, or else just to type it on the calculator, you'll end up with the 3 over 5. And coming to the last one, tan L. So here opposite to L, so you have to identify. I personally consider that every question, every ratio is a new one. That's how I see. And opposite is 16 units and adjacent is, let me identify what is the adjacent to L. You see that that is 12 units. So 16 over 12, and can you divide by any, the numerator and denominator by any number means, yes, it is 4. So 4 times 4 and 4 times 3, then you'll end up with the 4 over 3. Okay,